viewers at home, judge that likeness for yourself right here, right now. Our Andrew's found yet another excuse to leave the country and go off on a trip. I wonder where he is this week.
Mark Kermode's always saying that I get to go on all the glamorous foreign trips for the culture show. So just to prove him wrong, I've decided to come to one of the grottiest parts of what, by many accounts, is the ugliest and most boring country in all Europe, Belgium. And the reason I'm here? Because I've been told that just round the corner from here, you can see the shape of the future.
And here it is. Living Tomorrow is a house of the future created by leading architects and designers working with 57 of Europe's top companies.
Can it really be true that the future lies within a bright blue warehouse on an industrial estate in a desolate suburb of Brussels? Well, I'm sceptical, but let's go inside and have a look.
Inside, in the world of 2012, your child's bedroom is reborn as a pod where the atmosphere is oxygenated, so that your little treasures breathe clean air as they play on their Xboxes and video games. You can control the volume on the telly or check up on them from other rooms. An Orwellian touch, but not that far from where we are now. Technology is definitely king here. Even in the bathroom, you can check the headlines and the weather as you get ready for work.
It's definitely very sexy in a toys for boys way, the house of the future, with its flashing lights, all its interactive gadgets. But there are things about the people of the future that worry me. For one thing, they've got disconcertingly square bodies. They've even got square bums, to judge by the loo. And although they're obviously cash rich, they can afford all these gadgets, they seem to be terribly time poor. I mean, otherwise, why would you need to read the news, check the weather, listen to music, all while brushing your teeth? Now, I understand that if you are going to entrust the design of the future to people who make machines, companies like Bosch and Philips and Panasonic, you're going to end up with a future that's full of kit. But I do feel that as a vision of humanity's relationship with technology, this house of the future has rather got it the wrong way round, because surely the point of technology, of new design, should be to release you into engagement with the things that really matter to you, like your kids. But this weird cocoon seems to do the opposite of that. I mean, this is a place where someone too busy to play with their children is meant to park their child, and it strikes me as completely bonkers. I mean, after all, would anybody want a 7 or 8 year old boy to be in this space with a huge widescreen TV? He'd probably never get out.
There's no doubt that the kitchen, designed by architect Zaha Hadid, is the most visually arresting space in the house. A sleek mass of Korean resin hides away all your appliances, while 2,000 LEDs embedded inside it allow you to control this Starship Enterprise of a cooking machine. The humble kitchen notice board is transformed into an interactive screen where you can check the energy consumption of the house and pre-order whatever you want. You can even scan your pre-packaged meal and watch as an alarmingly coiffured future chef prepares it on TV.
Now, I really like the kitchen of the future, but the trouble is, to me, it doesn't feel like a kitchen so much as an art installation with its minimalist sink unit, its word art on the work surface. Even the cupboards look like biomorphic surrealist sculptures. Now, the tragedy is that I've always wanted to strut my naked chef stuff on the telly, but here in this rather lonely bachelor pad kitchen, I just don't have the heart to cook something fancy like a roast leg of lamb served with an oregano juice. The only thing I could think of to cook that seemed right for this space was a lonely little bachelor meal, a single fried egg, which of course, tragically, I can't eat now because, as you know, it's the egg of the future.
But the future does have a heart. There are rooms designed specially for pensioners with toothbrushes which measure heart rate, blood pressure and body temperature, and email your doctor with the information.
Now, to be perfectly honest, if I was nearing the end of my time in the house of the future for old people, I'm not sure whether I'd find this technology nurturing or rather invasive. There's another example of it here in the bedroom in the form of this carpet, which lights up a display. That would actually be in some central control area so that the people down there could see from those lights that poor old Mr. Graham-Dixon's actually okay today. If I were to have a seizure and, as gracefully as I can, have a heart attack on the floor, you get a completely different light pattern there. That light pattern would set alarm bells ringing downstairs and nurses and doctors would rush to help me. Now you might say, well, that's very reassuring that if anything should happen to me, there'd be someone on hand straight away. Or you could say, well, in the house of the future, you can't even die in private.
This version of the future offers us control, a million ways to manage a hectic schedule and to insulate us from life outside the house. But I'm not sure that's what people are really looking for.
Spend too much time in the house of the future and the truth is you begin to feel a little bit lonely, a little bit alienated. It's a rather sterile house. Certainly not very people-friendly. Now, maybe that's just a reflection of the fact that so many of today's young, cutting-edge designers are single men, happier to have relationships with the latest gadgets than with real people. But for me, you see, I think the future is actually moving in a different direction from all this. I think in the future, people are going to want to spend less time in front of their computer screens and more time doing things like gardening, walking the dog, having relationships with their wives and their children. But of course, that could just be because I'm so very 2008. Time will tell.
And Andrew Graham-Dixon joins me now. So you weren't really a fan?
Well, half fan. I mean, the thing about these visions of the future is that they go out of date so quickly. And now I think they go out of date even more quickly than they ever did before. So even that kitchen, you know, the Zaha Hadid kitchen with those funky cupboards, to me that already looks like the design of 2 years ago.
Right, so the future didn't look very futuristic.
Not as futuristic as it might do. And there's this element also, I think, about sort of being supervised, being looked at, being watched, like the child being watched in that pod. It's all a little bit sinister.
Didn't remind you a bit of kind of Tomorrow's World, I thought, when you looked at it. You know, it's like, meals will be in pill form in the future. Do you know what I mean?
We will take our fluids from bags while hanging upside down in eco-pods. Actually, it wasn't very ecological, the House of the Future. Maybe that's because they've got so much, company and industry involvement in the project.
What would you like to see if you could, have an influence in the House of the Future?
I'd have it made entirely of teak and I'd fill it with old master paintings.
Right, OK. So our very own Renaissance man then.
Shh, I'm a future phobe.
Andrew Graham-Dixon, everybody. Thank you very much.